What Anas ibn Malik exactly wanted to say, if he was sitting here, he would say to you, like what he says in this hadith, كان صلى الله عليه وسلم أرحم الناس بالصبيان والعيال. That Rasulullah was the most merciful among all people. And Anas ibn Malik knows exactly what he's talking about, out of personal experience and out of what he saw. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. But just to give you a sense and a flavor, Anas ibn Malik had a brother who's called Abu Umair. And Abu Umair had a small pet, a small bird that was called An-Nughair. Imagine your child had a small teddy bear that he or she would not go to bed without the teddy bear, or Maisie, or I don't know which characters, Mickey Mouse or Barbie, unfortunately. Imagine a pet, and suddenly that pet, if it was a toy, was broken, or if it was a live pet, it became sick, or more seriously, died. What sort of impact will that have on the child? Rasulullah can go and say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, qada wa qadar. Allah predestined that he dies. Well, this might be indeed true, but not for a child. A child needs comforting. A child needs someone to cheer him. A child needs someone to talk exactly about the theme and issue that he is thinking about anything, or he's not thinking about anything except that theme, the pet. And that's why they say that when someone dies, it is good, not bad, it is good to talk about the deceased. If you go and give your condolences and you say, he was good. I remember one day he came to me, this. Don't think, oh, I don't want to remind him. No, he wants to be reminded because he cannot think about anything other than that. This is a prophet coming to visit a child, and he is showing concern, and he is thinking about battles, Badr and Uhud. He's thinking about wives. He's thinking about Ibrahim that have died. But yet, his heart is so big that he can afford to think about this question. Why is Umair upset? Why is he crying? And another narration, he says, oh Umair, come, let's pray together. And in another narration, there is another dimension. But just let's take the essence of the narrative. عن أنس قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أحسن الناس خلقا. Look at the introduction. He's giving an introduction to the narrative. Anas is saying, Rasulullah was the most mannered, on the top of morals. He wants basically to say, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. That's what he wants to say. وَكَانَ لِي أَخ. And I had a brother. This is where the personal experience comes. يُقَالُ لَهُ أَبَا عُمَيْرٍ وَهُوَ فَطِيمٌ. He just finished breastfeeding. 2.5, 3 years, 4 years. Probably, I don't know, wearing nappies, I don't know. And he is sad. كَانَ إِذَا جَاءَنَا. كَانَ إِذَا جَاءَنَا. Rasulullah, when he comes to visits, he says, يَا أَبَا عُمَيْرٍ مَا فَعَلَ النُّغَيْرِ. I tend to think that what is meant in the hadith, كَانَ إِذَا جَاءَنَا, that he comes regularly, and he regularly asks the question, أَبَا عُمَيْرٍ, what happened to النُّغَيْرِ? Rasulullah knows exactly well what happens to النُّغَيْرِ. The Nughair is dead. The small bird is dead. Rasulullah is talking about a theme that is not necessarily concerns him. The issue is that the theme is related to the one that is feeling the sorrow. So you're asking questions not for you to know the answer, but for him to know that you are concerned. How are you now? Are you feeling well? You know that he is living in hell, but it's important to ask and important to anticipate the answer, even if no answer. But he or she will recognize that you've asked and that you've showed concern. Not only once, but many times whenever you come and visit. I had a younger brother. To him he used to say, Rasulullah, oh Aba Umair, where is gone your Nughair? And Nughair is the name of a very small bird. Tirmidhi says that the Prophet called the child by his kunya, Abu Umair. He wasn't called Abu Umair, but again, to give him this sort of adulthood feeling that you are Abu Umair, making him happy and cheering him. He called the child by the kunya, the necessity for which arose from the fact that the boy, he had reared a bird which had died. And so the boy was sitting in a sorrowful condition. Hence, just to cheer the boy up, the Prophet asked him as to what has happened to his pet, An-Nughayr. And then Ibn Hajar and others commented on the hadith, saying that this hadith shows many, many benefits. One of the benefits that it's permissible to ask a question where you know the answer to. The other benefits is to lower your level of understanding and to talk in a way that is understandable to the listener. Rasulullah doesn't. He's not concerned about An-Nughayr. He saw his son die. He saw this woman die in the battle. He saw his cousin die. He saw his uncle die. Abu Talib died when he was a mushrik and he wanted him to... But what is more important is the emotion, is that block that he's trying to build. He's trying to show the child, and this is something else that is fascinating. He's trying to show the child that nothing is wrong with being upset or feeling sorrow for a pet. Don't be embarrassed to cry when the pet is dead. No, this is something that is legitimate. And this is something that is so important, so much so, that I'm going now to say a hadith that is going to be put forever, till the day of judgment, in the books of Bukhari and Muslim, or Umair, about your very pet. What more of glory and honor do you want? We would not have known the name of that pet that has been buried and eaten by the worms, but it was made famous because it happened in a context of a child rearing that bird.